The story of Joab, David's ruthless commander. His mother was Zeruiah, David's sister. Joab became David's military commander after leading the capture of Jerusalem. He proved himself repeatedly in battle and maintained an iron control on Israel's army. However, his methods were often brutal and politically calculated, like a lot of commanders and generals. He defeated Abner and consolidated David's kingdom. He led successful military campaigns against foreign enemies. Joab killed Absalom despite David's orders. He managed the census that brought God's judgment, and he supported Adonijah over the eventual king, Solomon. He had a tremendous downfall and death. Despite his loyalty all these years to King David, through most circumstances, Joab's support for David's son Adonijah's bid for the throne led to his execution at Solomon's command, even though he sought sanctuary at God's altar. Some of the key themes of the story of Joab. First, we see his military prowess, his exceptional battlefield leadership. Then we see the political cunning, the strategy, and ruthlessness. And then there's a complex loyalty all throughout the story for King David. He was faithful, yet sometimes defiant of King David. We see violence. Joab had a way of trying to solve all his problems with bloodshed. And then we see justice in the way he often metes out consequences for actions, and in the end, he also meets the consequences of his actions. Become a member of the channel and get exclusive members-only content, courses, articles, audio, and much more, all in one place. We add new materials every single month, and we'd love to have you. Check out the links in the description or in the links for the channel. Some key points. Joab was David's nephew, son of his sister, Zeruiah. He became David's commander-in-chief after capturing Jerusalem. He murdered Abner in revenge for his brother's death. He led the attack on the Jebusites through the water shaft. He orchestrated the death of Uriah the Hittite at David's command. He interceded for Absalom through the woman of Tekoa. He killed Absalom despite David's orders. He rebuked David for mourning Absalom extensively. That is one of the most interesting things in that story, and I think in that case he was quite justified to call out King David. What do you think? He killed Amasa, his rival commander. He pursued and killed Sheba, son of Bichri. He did oppose the census that King David ordered. However, he did carry it out on his command. He supported Adonijah's failed bid for the throne. He fled to the tent of the Lord for sanctuary, and he was executed at Solomon's command. He led successful military campaigns against Ammon. He showed strategic military skill. He commanded loyalty from his men. He even had his own scribes. He recognized the political implications of his actions and was ruthless in eliminating all threats. He had his own burial place. He was skilled in diplomatic matters, and he maintained control over the army despite personal conflicts. And even King David acknowledged Joab's brutality in his final words. "You also know what Joab, the son of Zeruiah, did to me," he said. The great commander Joab is of course a very complex character, a skilled military commander and a loyal servant to King David in many ways, but also a violent and politically ambitious man who ultimately met a tragic end. Let's look at the lessons. A negative lesson. Joab had his own ambition. He did back Adonijah instead of Solomon, even though the Lord had chosen Solomon. He made a good points about Absalom and killed him because he wanted Absalom gone. He used dirty deeds against Uriah and others. He was driven by ambition, and in the end, it all came back to him, and he got what he was dishing out. A positive lesson. He was skilled, both in military command and in politics. He was a warrior and a statesman. He was one of the people with King David who built the great nation of Israel at that time. Joab, like so many, is the right-hand man, the man right off center from the power, the man that most people never know or never speak about, and was there from the beginning and was very important to everything that happened. Some men are like that. You might not be the main guy, but you're the guy right off the center. What do you do with that power? Because you too play a most crucial role. The main lesson that I posit for today in the life of the commander Joab is that he was a very complex man. He ran to the altar for help, but was able to dish it out all throughout his life. He was ambitious but also a servant. He was skilled but full of hubris, arrogance, and brutality. He fought for the Lord, for the king, and for the kingdom. He was disciplined, but he was also vicious, cynical, and ruthless. What kind of person will you be? And how will you deal with the complexities of life is a question every man has to answer. And it is a grown-up question, because the complexities of life, if you are a man who wants to do things in this world, you will be met with that complexity. The complexity of the world, the complexity of ambition, your own and other people's, and the complexity that comes with trying to build something. A notable point: Joab was a nephew to King David, and he was a good nephew. He kept it in the family. This family was a blessing over Israel in the form of King David, his sister Zeruiah, who gave birth to this great commander Joab, one of the greatest men to ever come out of Israel, though complex. He was one of the only people who could even oppose King David and tell him to his face what he really believed and where the king was going wrong. He was one of the only people to tell David what he really thought and oppose him to his face and live to tell about it. He was a commander, a warrior, a nephew, the son of King David's sister. And sometimes great men are so blessed to have great nephews in life. Young men who are our sister's sons or our brother's sons, who are actually like our own sons, and we can collaborate with in life, and we can keep it in the family, and our family can be a blessing to the kingdom of God. Joab, a very complex man, likable and unlikable all at the same time. But to me, one of my favorites, because it's always the guy right off the center at the right hand of the king. Become a member of the channel and get exclusive members-only content, courses, articles, audio, and much more, all in one place. We add new materials every single month, and we'd love to have you. Check out the links in the description or in the links for the channel.